Welcome to Mind Over Metal Podcast. Heavy metal and hard rock news, discussion, and reviews. Alright, and what's happening, everybody? This is Mind Over Metal Podcast, episode 9, I think. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're all having a good week. Great to be back. And with me, as always, is my friend and co-host, DJ Metal Mike. What's up, Mike?
Hey, brother. How you doing, man?
Doing good, man.
It's been too long.
Yeah.
It's been too long, man.
Yeah, it actually feels like an eternity since we've been doing this.
Well, it's been a little while, man. I think because there was, if you remember, we kind of missed a week because we were supposed to do the Iron Maiden debut review with DJ Shant Star, which, by the way, I thought that was a really good episode. I thought DJ Shant knocked it out of the fucking park. And for anybody listening, DJ Shant Star is a DJ for our radio station, thatmetalstation.com. He's on Tuesdays, I think, from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're like into metalcore and fucking hardcore punk and thrash metal and, of course, traditional metal, that's the show for you. He does a tremendous job. I love his New York attitude. He takes no prisoners, you know, and really great guy. And I thought he nailed it, man. I thought he did a great job.
He did fucking amazing. It was a great episode. And what I loved about having Shant on was he's so fucking good at describing what a song means to him. You know, he really gets his point across. He did a great job. He was a great addition. And look, we'll have him back anytime.
Oh, definitely. As far as I'm concerned, he's our Iron Maiden guy.
Absolutely.
Any Iron Maiden review we do, we're doing it with Shant, as far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
And when it comes to any, you know, hell, man, if he was down, hey, let's have a third co-host. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He was that good. He was that good, man. Like, he nailed it. He knocked it out of the park, man. And, you know, because sometimes I feel like with my reviews, man, I don't mean to be, but sometimes I feel like I just get a little repetitive, man. But it's like, I'm not a musician, and I thought that was another reason why I wanted Shant on the show is not only is he a huge Iron Maiden aficionado, but he's also a musician. And you and I are, so I can't bring that to the table, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And that's what was kind of cool about having a guy. And I think that's what's going to be really cool in a future episode when we have DJ Def Jeff. He's a musician. He's in a band called Ashes of the Dead, and I really want to
musician.
Oh, killer musician, man. DJ Def Jeff's bad as fuck, man. And a great DJ, and you can check him out. He's got several shows on the radio station right now, man. DJ Def Jeff, probably the busiest DJ at that metal station, I'd imagine, would you say?
I think we need to change the name to That Jeff Station. Fucker has about 6 shows. You know, and
I think
6
it's
great
like
shows.
3 or 4 at least. Right? Well, I don't know if I'll go ahead and make this announcement. The Knights of the Turntable, which is a show that me and Jeff are a part of, is on hiatus right now. Because our owner and, co-owner and founder, Scott Green, a.k.a. DJ Guilty, he's got to get some of his life together, and he's got things going on. So we will be back. I don't know if we're going to be on the same slot, but we'll make that announcement when the time comes. And if you want to know when DJ Def Jeff's on, then you need to go to thatmetalstation.com and check out the time slots, because quite honestly, I'm not going through all that. I will say this though, you definitely need to check out his Wednesday Whiplash show. I believe is from what? Is that 8 p.m.
to whenever he decides to get off?
You know, whenever he decides. He's a great DJ. Does a tremendous job for the station. Does a lot for the station. And I enjoyed doing the Knights of the Turntable with him, and looking forward to doing that again. But we need to find a day that's more conducive for all of us, because, like I said, DJ Guilty, he's taking time off anyway, and then on top of that, like, they were having it on Sundays. Well, dude, I work every other Saturday.
Yeah.
And I worked 12-hour shift nights. So I was having to come home. Sometimes I'd be lucky if I got home at 7 a.m. in the morning and then have to get up at 11 a.m., which was 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to do the show. And then it would end at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or 2 p.m. where I'm at. And then I'd have to take a power nap before I had to go back into work at 6 o'clock. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So it was really, it wasn't every Sunday, but every other Sunday. It was kind of a fucking struggle. Plus, Kane, he lives with me, DJ Kane, and he has to get his show ready because his show's every Sunday.
Yeah.
From 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Plug. Anyway, I'm done plugging the station. But the reason why I mentioned Def Jeff was because, like I said, he's a musician, just like Shant. So it'll be really interesting. It's really cool to get his point of view and his side of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's a Lamb of God album that we're gonna do.
Yeah,
I told you. Remember, once his name came up, I was like, he's gonna want to do Lamb of God, no doubt about it. And it was.
He was actually down for just whatever we wanted to do, and I said that you suggested Lamb of God, and then I said, well, what album you want to do, dude? And he goes, and I gave him two choices, and he picked Ashes of the Wake, which I was secretly glad because I'm not going to say anything more about it, but yeah, anyway, yeah.
You're giving it away, Mike. You're giving it away.
Yeah, spoiler warning. Well, I fucking hate that record. It sucks. No, just kidding. But,
I'm not that familiar with it, so...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Do you like Lamb of God, Matt?
Do you know what? I'm not that familiar with them. I like maybe a handful of songs. I just haven't really delved into them enough because, you know me, anything past fucking 95, and I'm not really that interested, but...
wow.
Well, look, see, that's not 100% accurate, but...
I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
I know what you're saying.
I just never give them the proper chance that they deserve, I think.
Well,
but I have everything.
Oh, that's cool. Well, yeah, you need to delve into it, man, because I'll tell you what, to me, the reason why I like Lamb of God, I'll just break it down, and maybe some people, oh, you're crazy, DJ, but I'm like, but the first time I heard them, I'm like, oh, wow, this is Slayer meeting Pantera. That's what it reminded me of. And I love Slayer, and I love Pantera. So it was like, I dig them. I mean, am I going to sit here and say I like every album or every song? No, but I dig them, man. I dig them. I think they're a good band.
I really like that song. What's it called? It's like acronyms, but I think it stands for Officer Dickhead Gets a Black Fucking Eye or something. I really like that fucking song.
Yeah.
But, I just need to discover them more.
Yeah, and then now you're about to, because you're gonna, check out a record, and then I'm gonna be really interested to see what your take is on that album, man.
Yeah, I'm excited to get into it.
Yeah, because like I said, the other, if I remember right, the other record that I recommended to DJ Def Jeff, I can't remember which one it was now. It was one of the classic albums. And right now I'm fucking having a goddamn brain fart. I hate it when that happens.
That happens.
All the time with me, dude. Well, I think the problem with me is it's not just it's a combination of age and the fact that my brain is just clogged with malt and hops and bong resin, man. I mean, I don't really smoke weed anymore, but back in the day I did. And, oh my God, I smoked a lot.
I get tongue farts where I can't fucking get the words out of my mouth. I sound like a fucking retard.
Right. Well, that's kind of how I felt about as the Palace Burns. That was the other one I thought about. I said that one or Ashes of the Wake, and he picked Ashes of the Wake. So,
cool.
I'm looking forward to doing that, man.
Yeah, we'll get, and also, actually. I told you about it. I sent you a message about another potential guest, but I'll maybe not say the name. We'll keep it as a surprise. That shocked the hell out of me. Now, I was wanting to know, was that going to be for the podcast? I didn't know if you were going to do that for the podcast or if you were going to do that for, for your radio show. I wasn't 100% sure, but yeah, I'm going to do it for both.
Cool.
So
very, very cool.
What I'm
very,
going to
very
do is I'm going to, obviously I have to pre-record it. So
Mhm.
I'm going to debut it on the radio show, and then that week tack it onto the podcast, or maybe put it up separately to the week's episode.
Right.
You know, still put it up on the iTunes and Spreaker. Might do it like that, but I'm very excited for that. It's a good win for us.
Oh, hey, yeah. You know, I mean, I was like, holy shit, way to go, Mac. I'm still kind of like, I'm going to be nervous because I don't know if you know this, but dude, I've never really interviewed anybody before.
Hey, me neither.
You know, so I'm going to be like, I'm going to have to fight the urge to be like, you remember the time when you know, like Chris Farley. You ever seen those Chris Farley Saturday Night Live skits where he would, he'd interview somebody famous and he'd be like, you remember? Like, that's how I'd be with Kirk Weinstein.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you remember when you said all I had I gave? That was awesome. I'm going to be like that pathetic about it.
Yeah, well, fuck it, man. We'll get through it. I mean, you have to start somewhere, and
right.
I mean, this is a fucking big guy. Wasn't a
well, yeah.
You could say one of the most important metal bands of the 80s.
Well, definitely. I don't want to say too much, though, because I don't want to give anything away, but there's a certain metal scene that, yes, he was a big part of. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, one of the bands he was in was one of the Forefathers.
Yeah. Well, look what they achieved on a certain record that came out, I want to say 1983. It was a big feat, so I'll say no more about it.
And he's part of another, band that's from that era. So it should be really cool, man. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I didn't know, though, that I was going to be, like when you said that, I was like, was that for the podcast or for the show? And, because I didn't want to rain on your parade, man. I mean, I'm just fucking ecstatic that you got him, man. I'm like, hell yeah, dude, that's awesome.
Hey, if you could see my message box and the amount of fucking people I've messaged, record companies, promoters, you fucking name it, even artists themselves, the amount of people I've reached out to, and to try and get this guy, I took another
avenue.
Yes, I basically went straight to his wife, and she hooked me up. So fuck record companies and fuck promoters.
Another guy I wouldn't mind trying to do that with would be Kirk Weinstein.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm Facebook friends, I think, with him and his wife. I believe I know I'm Facebook friends with him, and I mean Kirk, believe it or not, he will. What's really cool about him is there's times where I'll just post something random that has nothing to do with metal or and he'll like it.
Oh, nice.
I'll see Kirk Weinstein likes this. Like when I posted my mother's necklace, that I had made, it said Kirk Weinstein likes this. And I'm just like, oh, man, that's really cool of him. And there's been a few times, I remember there's been a few times I made a meme about something about, achieving your goals through hard work or something. And he actually commented. He's commented on a couple of my posts. Like one of them was, he goes, that's fucking right, man. You work hard, you can achieve anything in life. I'm proof of that. And I just told him, man, you're a huge inspiration to me. Like, one of the reasons I love Crowbar so much is if you read the lyrics, it's all about adversity and it's all about overcoming adversity, Mm-hmm. And that's what I love about Crowbar, So, and then there was one time I was like going off about how I hated grocery stores, and he goes, well, I like grocery shopping. I'm like, well, Kirk, maybe it wouldn't be so bad if it wasn't like I was just having a bad day. I forget exactly what I said to him. It's like, it's not so much that I go, you number one, you got a beautiful wife to go grocery shopping. I'm on my own, buddy. It's not so much fun grocery shopping when you're by yourself. Yeah. Just gonna throw that out there. And then when you got all the mouth breathers in your way and shit, and
that's cool.
Anyway,
I was friends with Dave Ellefson of Megadeth fame.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, for a very short period of time. And then I noticed he fucking unfriended me. What a prick.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right.
Motherfucker. Maybe it could have been a case, where you can only have 5,000 friends is all Facebook will let you have. and it could have been a case of he reached his quota and he was like, okay, don't know this guy, you know, gone. Maybe he had a ruthless moment like that, but man, I was
or
fucking
maybe
pissed
he has
off.
a handler that's handling his account. I mean, I don't know. I've never met David Ellison, but from all accounts and everybody I've ever talked to, DJ Mac, he's really a nice guy. So I'm sure if he did it, he had a good reason.
Yeah.
Might not want to call him a prick.
Yeah.
Might never show up on the podcast or the radio and do that. Fucking prick.
Remind me to edit that out. Or I'll put in a bleep if I can figure out how to do that.
No, but, you know, all joking around aside, though, you know, I mean, I don't know the man. I mean, maybe he is, but...
No, I love him. I love David. I love Megadeth.
Right, I know you're a huge Megadeth guy. You know, it's kind of funny. I was, too. Like, when the Big Four were doing their thing back in the day, man, I was a Megadeth guy. Nice. Like, I loved Metallica and was all about it. Don't get me wrong, but, man, brother, Peace Sells changed my fucking life.
Yeah.
Like, that album was just like, whoa. And that's why I was always like, thank God there was a Megadeth. Like, I'm glad they kicked Dave out of the band. You know? I mean, I'm sure it sucked for him, but I'm like, dude, you went on to do something that, in my opinion, maybe Megadeth hasn't sold as many records, but god damn, man, they're you know, the thing about Megadeth, though, is they're the musicians' band. I've noticed that. Like, every time they come into town, anybody I know who's a musician's like, ooh, Megadeth is coming, you know, so that adds a lot of weight right there, as far as I'm concerned. And I've been critical of Megadeth sometimes because I have to be honest with you, because I'm an old school fan, I started tuning out of Megadeth. I think Countdown was the last album I liked. I liked it. The last album I loved was, of course, Rust in Peace.
Yeah.
Wasn't a big fan of Euthanasia, and they really had a hard time grabbing me back. I would listen to some of their things, and I'd be like, it just didn't do a whole lot for me until Dystopia. Yeah. Dystopia
what a great
is the best
fucking record.
Fucking thing they've done since Rust in Peace. Like, I think it's better than Countdown, man. That record is fucking amazing. It was like, yes, Dave's back. And you can't help but wonder if maybe him coming out with such a kick-ass album didn't just light a fucking fire under Lars and James's ass.
I think
just got to throw that out there, man.
That's exactly what happened. They saw, or heard, rather, what Dave and the guys did, and they thought, fuck, you know, we have to follow this up. We have to do something better. Now, in my opinion, they didn't do anything, but I think Dystopia's, you know, a far better album. But I like the new Metallica. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I just think Dystopia was fucking flawless, and Hardwire to Self-Destruct is good, but there's a couple of weaker tracks on it. So it's
not as cohesive.
Yeah,
it's not as cohesive a record as Dystopia.
Exactly,
in my opinion. I think Dystopia, and I have to say, I thought Repentless, considering that they didn't have Jeff fucking Hanneman.
Yeah, that was good.
That's a pretty solid record. I mean, I know some Slayer, you know, without Jeff Hanneman. Hey, look, I get it. I love Jeff too, man. But I'm just saying, for them to be able to carry it forward with just two original members and to put out a record that good, I thought I was pretty impressed, man. You know, about the only member of the Big Four that kind of disappointed me was Anthrax, because I love Worship Music. Absolutely loved that record. Thought it was a return to form. I'm like, fuck yeah. Because I'm one of them old school guys, dude. I'm sorry. I like, god damn it, Armored Saint, John Bush.
Yeah.
I like John, but
him.
To me, that's he's Armored Saint. That's Armored Saint's vocalist. I don't, to me, Anthrax will always be Joey Belladonna, because that's my Anthrax.
Yeah.
Just like it is with Ralph. Ralph's Anthrax, like, he loved the first album, Fistful of Metal, which I do like. Yeah. But I like the Joey Belladonna stuff, which I know you and I are totally, you know, you're not copacetic with me on that.
Yeah.
That's all right though, man. But no, all joking around aside, you know, so to me, Worship Music was a return to form, and For All Kings was a major disappointment. I was like, oh my god, man, like, ugh.
I always check out new Anthrax always, and I'm always disappointed.
Always?
Always, yeah. Except for maybe the first. Well, I don't hate everything. I like Fistful of Metal. I like Among the Living.
Among the Living's so classic, man.
Yeah. To be honest, that's really it until the Bush era.
Well, here's my thing about the Bush era. I just wish, and Scott even said that looking back, they should have changed the name of the band because, dude, when John joined the group, they weren't Anthrax anymore. I mean, it was a totally different band. Not saying it was any better, not saying it was any worse, just saying it was different. You see what I'm saying? And I just feel like, they probably should have changed the name of the band. And Scott even conceded that while they had initial success with John, the first record especially did very well. They were like, we just signed this huge record deal, and the record company was like, of the understanding that Joey was going to be part of the band. Then all of a sudden Joey wasn't. They bring in John, and he goes, but I didn't realize that then. I realize it now that there was a certain segment of Anthrax fans that were never going to accept Anthrax without Joey Belladonna.
Oh yeah,
you know, and I was one of those guys. Like as much as I like John, I'm like, no man, he needs to be an Armored Saint, goddamn it.
Yep.
And that's just my old curmudgy fucking old school metal ways.
All right, and Mike, remember last week I was harping on about the iTunes reviews and the Facebook reviews and yada yada yada. I said that we had a few and that I would read them out in the next episode, so I have got a couple here. But just to refresh everyone's memory, we are running a competition. So every review we get, be it a Facebook, a Podbean, an iTunes, you know, however you listen to us, leave a review, leave a comment, and I'm going to do it exactly a month from today, so the July 22nd, as it's the 22nd of June as we're recording this. But I'll announce a winner. We'll pick the names out of a hat, and whoever wins gets a killer fucking new Mind Over Metal t-shirt. But also we have other shit there too, like we've phone covers and heap of other shit. But if you check it out at the website mindovermetalpodcast.com, see the merch tab, have a look in the merch store. If you want something else apart from a t-shirt, let me know and we'll get that out to you. But leave a review, we'll read it out on air. Now we got a lot of reviews that didn't write anything, they just give us 5 stars, 4 stars, and that's cool, we appreciate it. But maybe leave a little comment as well with it and we'll read it out on air. And you can win some fucking cool swag. So I'll jump into a few of them that I have here. Mike, you up for that?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Cool. First one is from Travis Nessel. He's a guy that he's a member of a lot of the same groups that we are, Mike. And he is a listener to the station as well. But he left a 5-star review. He just said, great podcast, especially like the most recent episode with the Guns N' Roses and Zach Sabbath concert reviews. So he left that a couple of weeks ago. He left that on June 3rd. So thank you for that, Travis. The next one is by Mark Bodding, I think it is. Sorry if I'm fucking up your name. But he just said, great podcast, excellent sound quality and content. So cheers for that, bro. That was another 5-star review. And the only other written one I have is from someone called Jira 98 or Jira, whatever. And this was on iTunes, and it just said, love the show, digging back to previous episodes, keep it up. So thank you for that, and keep them coming. We'll read them out, and everyone who leaves one, be it on Facebook or Podbean or iTunes, you could win some cool fucking merch. So keep them coming in, we'll read them out in there. So, but that's all the ones I can read out. But on top of that, we got about 4 or 5 starred reviews, which is cool. So, but please try and leave a comment, and we'll read it out. So pretty good feedback there, Mike.
Oh, awesome! And I don't know if you know this, but I actually know Travis personally.
Oh, do you?
Now, I didn't before I became a DJ. He's a guy who kind of lives in the same area as me. But what happened is he was a friend of a friend, and my buddy Jeremy Odom, we all call him Scrotum or Scro. We got some fucked up nicknames for each other. And he was telling Travis about my show on that metal station. So Travis started checking it out, and he became a fan of the show. And Travis very nearly, for a very brief time, was actually a DJ for the station.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm the one who I helped him hook him up. I had my older brother make a bumper for him and a jingle, and I helped him out on his first show, and then he did a second show. Unfortunately, he couldn't do it because the job that he was working at the time fucking was giving him mandatory overtime. He was working 6-7 days a week, man. He just couldn't commit to the show because he was doing a night show, I believe. Originally, he was doing my slot. When I first started on the station, I was doing the slot that DJ Sato was, 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday nights, Saturday mornings. He was doing Saturday nights, Sunday mornings.
Yeah.
And he was doing a good job too, man. It kind of bummed me out, but I mean, he had to do what he had to do. He's got a family to take care of. He's got other responsibilities, and that's why if you ever listen to my show, a lot of times I'll refer to him as the once and future DJ Warpig, because that's his handle in our chat room. Is Warpig. That's Travis.
Oh, is that him?
So if you ever see, if you ever see Warpig, that's Travis. Man.
Oh, cool. Didn't know that. Oh, so cool.
Good dude, man. And I'll tell you what. Just because I know him doesn't mean that's why he gave us a positive review. Because I'll tell you what, Travis will tell you exactly what he thinks. Awesome. He don't give two fucks, man. He is brutally honest. So if he says he likes the podcast, we're doing something fucking right.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Travis, and really appreciate it. Anyone else out there, leave a fucking review, and you can win some fucking t-shirts or whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Good. You can get phone
it's
covers.
Free shit.
Yeah, it's
free shit, man.
It's not.
And it's got a killer logo, and come on, man.
Yep. It's you won't even have to pay shipping. It's all just free. So whatever you want, check it out. MindOverMetalPodcast.com. Go to the merch tab. It'll take you straight there. Whoever the winner is, pick what you want, and we'll send it out to you. And for the rest of you fuckers, buy some fucking merch. That I even haven't bought any yet.
And not only that, but buy some merch from that metal station too, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
We'd rather do that than do some lame ass Kickstarter program.
Oh, fuck that.
Fuck all that. Yeah.
Yeah, this shit ain't fucking free. But then again, it doesn't cost an arm and a leg, but still costs. So
anyway, what do you want to talk about, my friend?
How about
the meeting?
Yeah, do you want to take it away? We're doing in case we didn't tell you at the start of the episode, but I mean, you're not fucking stupid. You'll see it from the title of the episode. But we're just doing some news and discussion. But Mike, the floor is open, my friend. So anything you want to talk about, you go for it. And I've come up with a brand new name for you.
Oh yeah, what's that?
It's Metal Mike Tangent.
Yeah, I do go off on some fucking tangents.
Yeah, man. I fucking love them.
Yeah, maybe that's what the Tyler T stands for. It's actually tangent.
Tangent.
And I appreciate that, brother. Well, anyway, here's something that's kind of interesting that I just saw come up on my feed. Mm-hmm. According to Blabbermouth, and I believe in giving the news source credit.
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, they just said in a brand new interview with the News Herald, former Van Halen bassist Michael Anthony was asked why he thinks now is the right time for a reunion of the band's classic lineup, and he responded, well, I mean, partly because you obviously see all these other bands doing it these days, and also for Van Halen's fans. Maybe some kind of proper closure or something. I'm not sure. Everybody in the band is still relatively healthy and alive, so there's one thing right there. And Sammy Hagar, former Van Halen singer, puke, has brought it up quite a few times in interviews he's done. He'd be open to doing a tour with him and David Lee Roth singing. Well, here's the thing. I would love to see Van Halen with Michael Anthony, but this is the way I look at it. I want to state something right now. I'm not as extreme as our our fellow podcasters and friends, Wadzilla, aka Ian Wadley, or of course Dr. Fuck, aka Ralph Vieira, when it comes to Sammy Hagar, like, they make no bones about it. They can't stand the motherfucker.
Yeah. Especially
Ian. I think he's, like, Ralph at least likes the first Montrose record. Ian's like, fuck Sammy Hagar no matter what he does. And that's fine, man. I don't have a problem with that. Everybody's got their opinion. I don't hate Hagar. I'm not like a hardcore Hagar fan, but I hate Van Hagar, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like, I like Sammy with Montrose. I like some of his solo stuff. I still think the song Heavy Metal, that's a killer fucking riff. Three Lock Box. Some of his solo stuff I did enjoy, I mean, I think I've even said this in a previous podcast. To me, I feel that, honestly, when he joined Van Halen, it's like they kind of mutually neutered each other.
Yeah.
Like, where did the balls go? Like, where did the fucking oomph go? Like, what happened? Like, when I first heard they were hooking up, that was right around time I knew Dave was going solo, and I bought Eat 'Em and Smile, and I absolutely loved it. I mean, it was such a great record. And then I'm anxiously awaiting 5150, because I'm like, fuck yeah, we're going to get fucking, Three Lock Box and Heavy Metal combined with fucking, Rock Candy and all that combined with fucking Eruption and Everybody Wants Some and I'm on Fire, and oh, I can't wait. And when it came out, it was a bunch of fluffy top 40 fucking pop ass bullshit, man. And I'm sorry, but that's not what I wanted from Van Halen. Personally, they should have changed the name of the band. They toyed with that idea. I really wish they would have called it Van Hagar, because it's not Van Halen. And I don't give a fuck what anybody says. I know there's a bunch of people that want to defend that shit. Why, I don't know. Again, and everybody's entitled to their opinions, but it's just no comparison. There's no contest. I'm sorry. There's not. You cannot say and tell me that you honestly think Van Hagar is better than the original Van Halen. Now, with that being said, do I think that Van Halen are as good as they were circa 78? Fuck no. Of course they're not. Okay, they're not. I mean, David Lee Roth is way past his prime. Okay, I mean, I'm just being real here, and I love Dave. I'm not putting David Lee Roth down. I absolutely think he's one of the greatest frontmen to ever grace the stage. I mean, he's one of the best ever. So yeah, I'm a huge Diamond Dave fan, man. I mean, no disrespect when I say that, but I don't want. All I gotta say is this: if they were going to do a Van Halen show, and if I were to go and Sammy was going to be there, I'd rather they had Dave come out first so I could leave early, or I'm just going to be in the beer tent for a really long time. Yeah. That's all I'm going to say, man. Like, seriously, I have no interest in Van Hagar. I really wish Sammy would just let it go. I don't know why he's so obsessed with it. It's like, look, dude, you kind of brought some of this shit on yourself. Whether you like Van Hagar or not, he wrote that book, said a lot of, even if some of it was true, and maybe some of it was, I don't know, I wasn't there. He said a lot of horrible things about Eddie. Why would that guy fucking jam with you again? Why would he ever want to have anything to do with you? I mean, I don't know if you read Sammy's book. I did. It was an interesting read. I felt like some of it was fucking fucked up, though, because he was trying to make it out like he was as big as Van Halen was when he was solo. I'm here to tell you, Sammy was successful. He was. He was doing well. VOA was a big hit. He was doing well. He was a big deal here in St. Louis. I'm from the Metro East area, which is like literally right around St. Louis, but I live on the Illinois side of the Mississippi River. And, Sammy to this day is still a huge deal. They just love him here. Yeah. But I don't think he was ever as big as Van Halen. I mean, I'm sorry, I just don't, man. I remember Van Halen was like a phenomenon. They were selling out some places 2 or 3 nights in a row. I never saw Sammy Hagar do that. I don't ever remember that. I mean, I know I was just a kid, but I'm just saying, it's weird with me because I wasn't old enough to actually go to any of these amazing shows, but I'm old enough to remember the bands. Like I stated before, my mom and dad, it was weird. They would let me buy the records. They let me have the posters. But when it came to going to, you ain't fucking going. Then fucking people are going to be fucking drugs. There's going to be drugs. You know.
Typical parents.
Right. Jesus Christ, dude. My first concert, I was like 16, 17. I saw fucking Crazy Nights tour. You know, which is like an album I fucking detest. Ted Nugent opened up, though, and put on a hell of a fucking show. And I mean, Kiss they weren't bad. I mean, Eric Carr's drum solo was amazing, and they played some old school shit. Actually, the one thing I remember about that concert, believe it or not, that really surprised me was how much of the Creatures material they played. They played a lot of Creatures of the Night songs, which that was fine with me, because aside from the original Kiss, my favorite lineup is the, Stanley Simmons, Carr, Vincent lineup. So I was fucking fine with that, man. But I just feel that personally I have no interest in it. And I don't even know if as much as I love Van Halen, I don't even know if I would go see him now, because if I do, I'm going to go in with the mindset that this is not the Van Halen that I saw on video and film when I was a kid. Like, to be honest, Father Time catches up to everybody, dude. It's a motherfucker. I don't care who you are, how great you are, and I think they're, especially David Lee Roth. I mean, he can't hit a lot of the notes that he could back in the day. He just can't, And I'm not putting the guy down. Just being brutally honest.
I'll tell you another reason why there won't be an original Van Halen reunion, and that reason's Wolfgang. Do you think Eddie's going to put his son out of the band, or Alex is going to put his nephew out? I just don't see that happening. He's there how long?
Yeah, and I think also there's this. I think for whatever reason, there's obviously some issues with Eddie and Mike. I don't know. Eddie Van Halen is a funny guy, man. I love him, but at the same time, I just wonder about the guy, man. I mean, he's just, I will say this, though. There's a while back somebody... Photoshop's just an amazing thing. It's a picture of Eddie now, and he's got his arm around young Eddie. And they're both
seen that.
It's so fucking cool looking, man. And I'm like, wow, because that's the one thing is like Eddie nowadays for an old dude, he's looking pretty good. Like there was a while there, dude, where I don't know about you, but I was worried about the guy. He was looking.
He looked like He looked like a crack hooker.
Yeah.
He looked fucking terrible.
Terrible. I mean, terrible. Like, I thought he was going to collapse and die right there on the fucking stage.
Yeah.
I mean, like, death warmed over. So, I'm glad Eddie's straightened his shit up. But, I'm always going to be kind of like, I just don't get the guy, because it's like, I think him getting rid of David Lee Roth in the first place was fucking stupid. I just don't get, like, what you're telling me, Dave, was that unbearable that you couldn't handle it? I mean, it sounds to me, though, that what I understand, a big part of it was musical direction. Eddie was wanting to take the band to where he ultimately took them. Very keyboard friendly, very, poppy. And David Lee Roth was not down for that. And that's obvious when you hear Eat 'Em and Smile. Of course, I think it's also interesting that after Eat 'Em and Smile came out, and even though it went, I think, multi-platinum and did very well, he didn't quite outsell Van Halen. So what's he going to do with Skyscraper? Starts throwing in synthesizers and shit. And I was like,
jumping on the trend.
Yeah, which really bummed me out, man, because Eat 'Em and Smile is just such a fantastic album, and such a fuck you to Van Halen, man. That I wanted more of that as a fan, So I don't know. Yeah, personally, I could give two fucks about a Van Halen, especially if Sammy Hagar's involved. I wouldn't say I don't give two fucks. Like I said, under the right circumstances, like I was going to go see them this last time they were in St. Louis, because I'd never seen Van Halen. But I can't remember why. There was some reason I couldn't go, and which it did bum me out somewhat. Like I said, I wouldn't mind going to see him, but I want to see the original Van Halen. Like, I would like to see Michael Anthony. That would entice me to maybe go. It was Mike, Dave, Eddie, and Alex. But and I don't want Sammy involved. I don't.
No.
And I think people need to just let this fucking... I don't know why they keep talking about the Van Hagar reunion. I don't really... I'm with Ralph Vieira. I don't think there's a fucking demand for it.
There's no market for it.
I'm sorry, but and everybody wants to number one. Well, you know what? So did Britney Spears. Doesn't mean it was great music, stupid fucks. That's number one. And number two, it's dated as fuck. It don't sound as fresh as the David Lee Roth stuff, man. And I don't blame Sammy totally for the musical direction they went in, because, like I said, that's the direction Eddie wanted to go in. I think what Sammy did was cut his fucking balls off and basically became a yes man and did pretty much whatever Eddie wanted him to do. That's what I think it was. It's like they just mutually neutered each other. I mean, I don't see how anybody who can sit there and say, man, I really love the song Heavy Metal, and I really love I'm on Fire. You like that hard rock heavy metal sound, and yet you're going to sit there and say that you like fucking, Dreams or fucking
Why Can't This Be Loved?
or any, and then I had somebody even say, well, you're only going to mention the ballads? That's weak. I said, okay, what's so bad about it is I can't even remember all the fucking shitty Van Hagar songs, man. But even the so-called rockers, they suck. They're not that good. It's terrible. I think the only reason why they sold as well as they did is, it was more commercial, it was more poppy. I still think overall David Lee Roth's era sold more.
Yeah.
Maybe not at the time it came out, even though I know Van Halen was huge when David Lee Roth was with him. But I think over time, I know they've sold millions and people are still buying the David Lee Roth stuff. Yeah. I don't really think people are, maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I'm sure there's at least a contingent of them that are like, oh yeah, Van Hagar. But most people I talk to and know, no. Even people who did like it back in the day are like, yeah, it just don't really hold up. Yeah. It don't. It just doesn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know people who came into the band in, 1988, and what was the album Van Hagar had in 88?
Balance, maybe?
Yeah, or one of them fucking things. And that was their introduction to the band. But when they went back and discovered, fucking Van Halen 1, Van Halen 2, it was a game changer for them, and they were like, now they're like, fuck that shit, that's fake Van Halen.
Yeah, actually it was OU812. That's fucking even terrible. Yeah, that's even worse. See, I said Balance. That's how much of a fuck I gave about Van Hagar. Like, I tried 5150, and I listened to some of the other albums afterwards because I had some friends that bought them, and they just didn't really do anything for me. I'm sorry, man. Like, Good Enough, that sucks. Summer Nights, terrible. Best of Both Worlds, hate that fucking song.
Yeah, I don't know most of those tracks.
You know why I know now? Is because I'm actually looking at the track list, because it brought back memories. I'm like, I remember all that shit. It was fucking awful. It was terrible, man. It was not good. I mean, it's fucking awful. It's like, ugh. Like, give me a fucking break. I'm sorry, but I'll take goddamn fucking Rock Candy and Three Lock Box and fucking heavy metal over that. And, of course, the old school Van Halen any day of the week and twice on fucking Sunday. Like, it's not even a contest, man. And like I said, Sammy was successful. VOA had done very well. He was doing well, but he wasn't as popular as, Van Halen were selling out some places, dude, 2 or 3 nights. 2 or 3 nights. Kind of like Kiss did in their heyday. That's why when I hear people say that about Kiss, they're as big as they've ever been. You're a fucking idiot. Just because they fucking do well in a festival or do okay overseas somewhere in some country that's fucking so starved for goddamn entertainment, doesn't mean that they're as big as they were in 1977, man. I'm sorry. Absolutely. Fuck off.
Yeah. The other thing too is who did Van Hagar who did Van Hagar inspire? Van Halen inspired a whole genre, more or less. After fucking Van Halen 1 and 2 came out, every guitar player on the LA scene wanted to be fucking Eddie Van Halen. Every frontman wanted to be David Lee Roth. That didn't happen with fucking Hagar,
No.
Just, the proof is in the fucking pudding. you know?
Right.
So
no, I'm not saying that Sammy didn't inspire anybody, but I think if he did, it's when he was with Montrose or on his own.
Yeah.
I don't think it was the stuff he did with Van Halen. I totally agree with you on that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like I said, I'm not a Hagar lover, but I'm not a hater.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not like hardcore. I mean, if you're going to ask me, hey, who do you prefer, Van Halen or Sammy Hagar? And I'm talking before, you know, Sammy joined up. No contest, Van Halen. I mean, no contest.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll take a lot of bands and artists. I'll take Ted Nugent over Sammy Hagar. I'll take fucking AC/DC over Sammy Hagar. I'll take a lot of bands. You know, I mean, so yeah, but I'm not a Hagar hater either.
Yeah.
You know, I try not to hate on anybody, really. I'm not saying I succeed, obviously, but because even I try to remember, well, these are flesh and blood people, and they have families and friends and people who love them and care for them. And just because I don't care for their music doesn't mean they're a bad person. It just means I don't dig on what they do, you know? And I try to keep that in mind, except for with one person in particular. And we've mentioned him on this podcast before.
Yeah. Fuck
and
that
you have
guy.
a mutual hatred. You have which makes you the perfect fucking podcast partner for me, dude. When I found that out, I'm like, this is awesome.
I hope that motherfucker gets meningitis, and I hope he loses his fucking legs. Hate that prick. And if you guys don't know who we're fucking talking about, go back and listen to our Slane Castle Zach
I'll
Sabbath
give you
review.
one fucking clue.
Take it away. Fucking asshole. Cunt.
Thinks he's fucking badass because he rips his fishnet shirt off of himself, you know, on stage.
Yeah.
Ooh, you're so tough, Glenn.
Yeah.
You know what? Now, if that was chainmail, and I've said this before, I'll say it again, that would impress me. You rip a chainmail shirt off, I'll be like, oh, man, that's a guy I wouldn't want to mess with. But, yeah, what a poser fucking bitch. You know, fucking overrated. Just because he's associated with the fucking Misfits, man.
Fuck them,
People
too.
wanna-
I don't like them.
Yeah, well, I don't hate the Misfits, but I'm not really a big fan. Yeah. I know that may be sacrilege to some people, and I know it's weird because they were a band that a lot of bands I love have looked up to.
Mm-hmm.
Cliff Burton. I'm a huge Metallica, Cliff Burton era fan. He loved the Misfits, but he also loved Leonard Skinner, see?
Mm-hmm.
So Cliff had good takes, too. And Thin Lizzy and Black Sabbath. So, but yeah, a lot of people, I never got it, really. You know? I will say this, though. I don't think Glenn's vocals were as irritating with the Misfits as they were. He screamed more then. Once he went solo, he decided he was going to be like, you know, a mixture of Elvis Presley and Jim Morrison doing metal. And it's like, dude, you're not the King, and you're not the Lizard King either. You know, Jim Morrison, you're a bitch.
Yeah.
Okay, so fuck off. Anyway,
Fuck
that's
off
just
and
my.
die.
Yeah, you know, right. I'm just like, Anyway, talking about him's a waste of fucking good air.
Exactly. Right. What's the next story you got there, Mike?
Well, the next story I got, and this is kind of sad, is of course, you know, ex-Megadeth guitarist Chris Poland said he was devastated by Nick Menza's death. Now, Nick, of course, had drummed with Megadeth, but Poland wasn't in the band. The reason why Poland and Nick are friends is because they were in the same band, Ohm, I believe. You know, it's funny, I've never really listened to Ohm. I'm going to have to check them out. I've heard they're pretty cool. Are you familiar with them, Mac?
No, I'm not familiar of any of their material. I've heard of them. But you know what? I might have just heard of... I might have only heard of them after Nick had died. You know, but no, I'm not familiar with any of their music.
I mean, well, you know, I think we ought to check them out because I don't know about you, but I'm a major Chris Poland fan. I think to me, for my money, I don't know how you feel about it, but for my money, the greatest Megadeth lineup is the original. I mean, Samuelson, Poland, and Ellison and Mustaine were incredible. Yeah. Behind that would be, in my opinion, the Rust in Peace lineup.
Rust in Peace is my favorite.
Yeah, well, don't get me wrong, dude. I love Rust in Peace, and it is an absolutely fucking thrasherific fucking album. Love that record. But I got to be honest with you. To me, I just think the body of work that was done by the original lineup was even more impressive. I mean, those were two great albums, and even though they weren't on So Far So Good So What. A lot of the songs were written when they were in the band.
Yep.
So to me, I kind of, even though technically Poland and Samuelson wasn't on that record, I kind of, when I can hear it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Rust in Peace is a fantastic album. And then Countdown's a pretty good album. And then after that, it kind of goes for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, it's like I can't give that lineup as much. For me, I mean, that and I understand, you know, because let me ask you this. What was your first Megadeth record?
My first Megadeth was Countdown to Extinction.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
See, so that is why that lineup has a special place in your heart. And that makes sense to me.
It went...
And don't get me wrong, I think Countdown is a solid record. I know some people have compared it to Metallica's Black Album. I disagree.
Yeah, I don't agree with that neither.
Vehemently, because yes, they did slow things down, but it was still a heavy record. It wasn't... I don't know. To me, I think Megadeth's Black Album would have been...
Euthanasia.
Euthanasia, yeah. I think that's where Dave was like... And again, I think it was because he was trying to follow that trajectory. I've often just wished that Dave would have just kept doing what he was doing and not be so worried about Metallica, because I think if Dave had kept doing the kind of records he was doing before, I think Megadeth, and don't get me wrong, I love Megadeth, so I mean no put down, but I think they would be held in the same status as Slayer.
Yeah.
You know, and they're not, because of the fact that they kind of gotten, you know, they got off the beaten path with albums like Risk, for instance.
Yeah.
I just feel that if Dave had kept fucking, if he had stayed just fucking, he didn't have to stay totally thrashy, but just fucking heavy as fuck, I think that, yeah, eventually Megadeth would have garnered a lot more, I mean, they're still a huge deal. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to sound like, I don't want to say, well, Slayer's bigger than Megadeth, but the proof is in the pudding. I mean, when they did the fucking Big Four, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was Anthrax that played first, then Megadeth, then Slayer, then Metallica, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, then, there you go. I mean, right there. I mean, the proof is in the pudding. Like, as much as I love Megadeth, they did kind of get off the beaten path, where Slayer pretty much stayed true to who and what they are. I know some people want to throw Diabolos and Musica in my face. I'm like, okay, that was one record, and even that wasn't really a sellout. Like, okay, they downtuned and they got a little bit more experimental with the record. That wasn't a sellout. To me, a sellout is, you know, I don't recall Diabolos being played on FM fucking radio. Let's just throw that out. I don't remember them making a billion videos for it. No, the Black Album was a blatant fucking sellout, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, and so was Euthanasia. And anybody who says otherwise or thinks otherwise, hey, that's great. You're entitled to your opinion, but yeah, I'm gonna have to agree to disagree with you on that. Come on, give me a fucking break. I mean, seriously. I mean, really, you know, like anybody who says the Black Album was not a fucking blatant sellout.
Yeah.
Wake the fuck up. Whether you like the record or not. I've got a buddy of mine who actually does love the Black Album, but he'll straight up tell you, oh yeah, it was a sellout. It was a sellout. Well, of course it was a fucking sellout.
I like some of it. Well, I like, I would say 60% of it I like. Well,
fair enough.
Maybe actually no. Maybe not 60. 40%. I like 40% of it.
Well, here's my thing about the Black Album. When I first heard it, I was just like, what the fuck is this shit? It was just total rejection. Over time, there's a few good tracks on there. I like "Don't Tread on Me," you know, "Of Wolf and Man." There's some good songs on there, but it's just, you know, I'm not a big fan of a lot of the fucking songs that ended up becoming videos. Yeah. Some of them,
"The Unforgiven." That piece of shit.
Sad But True is one of the most amazing fucking riffs ever put down. I said this, we reviewed the Black Album on the Rock and Metal Combat podcast. I reviewed it with Ian Wadley and Ralph Vieira, plug.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And we reviewed the Black Album, and I straight up said that Sad But True is an incredible fucking riff. It's an amazing, but it's so monotonous. It's the same riff over and over and over and over. That's not what I want out of Metallica, you know? I mean, that's cool that you're holding on to the riff for a while, but you got to change it up, man. Black Sabbath did. Fuck, sometimes Black Sabbath will have 3 or 4 amazing riffs in one goddamn song, and so did Metallica. Mm-hmm. So to me, it was just like, oh fuck, this is just monotonous and boring to me.
Yeah, lazy.
Lazy, yeah, just fucking lazy. It was like, yeah, I'm sorry, Enter Sandman, suck my cock. Hate that song. Hated it then, hate it now. Fucking hate that song, And the fucking juvenile lyrics, off to never, never land. What, is this Metallica or Peter fucking Pan? Fuck them. Oh, anyway, to get back to my fucking story about Chris and Nick.
Metal Mike Tangent.
Basically, right. Tangents with DJ Metal Mike. Anyway, we had, he was just devastated by Nick's death, and he said that after Nick had died, and this is, of course, according to blabbermouth.net, he said that he was devastated by the tragic passing of his own bandmate and fellow former Megadeth member Nick Menza. He now realizes that the way it happened was meant to be, and of course, on May 21st, about a year ago, well over a year ago now, in 2016, Nick collapsed after suffering a heart attack during a concert with Ohm at the Baked Potato in Studio City, California, and unfortunately was pronounced dead upon arrival at the hospital. And they said he died of natural causes. They said that Menza's death was listed as hypertensive and atherosclerotic cardiovascular disease. And he had hooked up with Ohm in 2015 after their previous drummer, Dave Eagle, suffered a heart attack, and he had open heart surgery in May of that year. So, and that was the former drummer. So this poor band's just got bad luck with drummers and heart. Yeah. Basically, in a brand new interview with Music Machine, so again, I'm getting this off of Blabbermouth, but it was actually according to Machine Music. Poland looked back on Menza's final days, and he said that, of course, he's best known for his first 2 Megadeth albums, which I already said that. Mm-hmm. And he said after Dave had passed away, that they wanted to continue the band, so he asked Nick to play with them, and Nick was like, fuck yeah, man, I'll do it, and he learned all the songs, and then they played, and they were like, man, this is really heavy, let's do this, and they were doing really well, and they were selling out everywhere they played. They were supposed to do a festival in Poland. It was all in the cards, but what the band didn't know was that Nick knew about his medical condition. He didn't tell anybody. He kept coming into rehearsal about a month or so before he passed away. For a week, he'd come into rehearsal and bitch about how doctors don't know anything. He saw a doctor, and the doctor told him what he didn't want to hear. So, yeah, long story short, man, Nick pretty much knew, and he even told his ex-wife's husband, I guess him and his ex-wife were still friends, that, you know what, when I fucking die, I'm going to go out on my drums. So it's almost like...
He knew.
Yeah, well, he even says right here, a week before the Baked Potato Show in which he passed, he was talking to these HBO people who were doing a documentary on us at his house, making him breakfast, and they're filming him, and he keeps talking about all these questions he has for God that he's going to ask God as soon as he meets him. So then when we did the Soul Tone benefit for Dave Eagle, our place where we could all grieve, one of Nick's friends said that he went to the doctor, and the doctor told Nick, yeah, you can't exert yourself anymore. And so Nick was like, you know what? I can't do that. Nick never told me that. But I know Nick. He was a type A personality. A type AAA personality. Every minute of the day, he was either making a drum, or making a home, or making a guitar, or recording music, or writing music, or working on his house, or riding his bike for miles in the mountains and some shit. And basically to him, it's like, if he couldn't do what he was going to do, that, like right here, the guitarist added that he was devastated and hurt by Menza's death. He eventually put it all together and realized that it had to happen. Mm-hmm. Everything happened the way it happened to him. It had to happen for him because he couldn't just sit on a couch. He couldn't just lay in bed. And thank God they didn't revive him, because if he had to live his life in a wheelchair, that would have been hell for him. Oh, yeah. So yeah, basically, that I guess he's trying to kind of basically see in the silver lining with what happened. I mean, it sucks. I mean, my God, Nick wasn't even, I don't think, 50 years old. Maybe 50 when he died. So, very, very, very sad thing.
Oh, yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, it was. It was just like, what the fuck, man? I mean, just crazy. Anything you want to weigh in on that, man?
No.
I mean, I know you being a big Rust in Peace lineup, that had to hit you pretty hard when it happened.
Yeah, well, do you know what? I wasn't aware of any of that. I didn't see that article. I seen the headline, but I just didn't click in to read it. But yeah, I mean, I love fucking Nick. You know, Rust in Peace is my favourite lineup. And remember, before Kiko and Chris Adler joined Megadeth, there was talks of trying to get the Rust in Peace lineup back on the road. I was really fucking excited for that. But, I mean, it didn't materialise or whatever. But, yeah, I fucking love Nick, and I was sad when he passed. But hearing that story, yeah, it's like the guy knew it was coming. I mean, to me, if it was me, like, yeah, drumming's his passion, but, I mean, I want to fucking live, you know, so I would have done whatever I could to stay fucking alive, but it's just sad that he more or less knew that it was coming and accepted it and just went out and did his thing. Such a fucking talent. Yeah,
he was an amazing drummer. I mean, let's face it, though. While I may not have cared for every album that Megadeth has done, it's not like Dave Mustaine doesn't make it a point to surround himself with the very best musicians.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he got fucking Chris Adler from Lamb of God to drum on Dystopia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, and I'll tell you what, that dude can fucking drum. Whether you're a Lamb of God fan or not, man.
Yeah, he's unreal.
Yeah, he's fucking awesome fucking drummer. I mean, you can't.
It's a shame that didn't work out, you know, and he couldn't double duty because I mean, he done a killer job on Dystopia, done a few dates of the tour, and then had to fucking split. You know, such a fucking shame. Didn't get to see him live with the band, and you know, not gonna get another record with him on it. Like,
right.
Bit of a shame.
Yeah, but I think it was kind of cool that he got Chris, because I know, Chris is a huge, well, you know, all the guys in Lamb of God are, most of them are huge Megadeth fans.
Yeah.
Like, you know, they say, and if you ever get a chance to check it out, have you ever seen a documentary? It was like released around 2007, so it's it's about a decade old, but great documentary called Get Thrashed, the history of thrash metal. I highly recommend it, Mac.
Cool, I must check it out. Never heard of it.
Oh, it's fucking great, because it's you know, they go through pretty much, and what's really cool is they've got the actual movie, which is like well over 2 hours long, and then they got another CD which has got all the extras, which has a map of the world, so you click on whatever state or country or part. Like, I think in America, of course, they have East Coast, West Coast, you know, Arizona, and, you know, Texas and all that. And then Canada, but they got Australia. Man, they you know, England, Germany, all the countries, and it's really, really cool, man. And that was all the bands that they interviewed or talked about that they just couldn't fit in the film, you know, because there's only so much time, you know. So
yeah, of course,
it is an excellent documentary. So if you get a chance to check it out, man, I highly recommend it. To anybody out there listening, get that fucking documentary. It fucking rules.
Yep. Yeah, I'll check that out, man.
But anyway, the guys from Lamb of God were talking about how, you know, pretty much echoed what I said about earlier about Peace Sells Who's Buying, about how that record just changed their fucking life. Like, they were like, man, we were all into Metallica and we were all about it, but when I heard that record, it made me want to fucking play metal. Like, It was like, you know, and that's, it's just an amazing album. So for me, I'm a Peace Sells guy, but man, Rust in Peace is like a fucking cunt hair.
Yeah.
You know, it's such a great. But I love So Far So Good So What. I think that's a very underrated album.
Oh yeah, it's a great album. Yep.
So anyway, let's see. You said something earlier about the man known as the Demon and his horns trademark thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah. Well, this actually broke. This story broke last week. Around the time we were doing the Iron Maiden review, but I mean, on that episode we just jumped into the review. We didn't cover any news, But, I mean, everybody's going to be fucking aware of it. Basically, Gene wants to trademark the devil horns gesture. No, he does it slightly different. He puts his thumb up as well, so it's kind of like a Spider-Man, you know, shooting his fucking web. But it's just come up today that he has now abandoned the trademark application and will not be pursuing it any further. But let's just call a fucking spade here, okay? What is the fucking point of trademarking a hand gesture? Because how can you police it? You know, I mean, fucking people all around the world do that every day. So, to me, it's an unenforceable thing. You know, do you know what I mean? It's fucking dumb, it's retarded, and it's just a way of Gene to get himself into the news, stir the pot, cause a bit of commotion, and then, you know...
Think about it. You just said he paid $275. $275, and he got more than his money's worth in publicity, though. Yeah, everybody's talking about him, dude. I mean, they're talking about him on terrestrial radio. They're talking about him on internet radio. Yep. They're talking about him on every fucking podcast. He's on every website. I mean, what else is... I mean, let's be honest. I love the Demon, and I don't mean any disrespect, because you know how big a lifelong Kiss fan I am, but fuck, dude. What else has he got?
Yeah.
It's kind of sad to me. Like, it's like, well, fuck, they're not talking about us because nobody really gives a fuck anymore, except for the Kiss cards, who will pay God knows how much money to go see him on a boat, even though it's not even the original guys. And not that I care. Like, it's not about that. Like, you know, I want to stress something, and I know I've said it before, but I'm going to fucking say it again. You know what? My brother Mark, my twin brother Mark, as big a Kiss fan as I am, my identical twin brother Mark, you know, which you know who he is, man. You've talked to him.
Of course, yeah.
He's you know, mentally disabled, sweet guy, loves Kiss, absolutely loves them. Like, as big a Kiss fan as I am, they're probably his all-time favorite band. I would say the big three for Marky would be Sabbath, Beatles, and Kiss. Nice. He absolutely loves Kiss, and we have supported Kiss through every fucking lineup. So any of these dickheads, you know, like I saw a meme a while back that said, a real Kiss fan supports all lineups. And of course, I had a picture of Thayer and
of course they did.
You know, Frank and Ace and Copycat Chris. And here's the thing, like, I don't have a problem with Eric Senior personally. I think the guy's a great drummer, and he's played with some of the best musicians in the world. He did Revenge and Carnival of Souls and Unplugged with him. You know, he has his place in Kiss Tree, and I would never take that away from him.
Well, but hang on here. Carnival of Souls is nothing to be fucking proud of.
Okay. I know you hate that record. I know you hate that record. I don't hate it.
Give me Sonic Boom any day of the fucking week.
Oh, I don't know about all that, dude. There's actually, believe it or not, dude, there's actually a few songs on that album I do like. Problem with Carnival of Souls, though, is, I mean, I know some people want to go, oh, they were following trends. Well, Kiss have been following trends since 1979, folks. And like typical Kiss, they're always like a year or two late to do it. That's number one. Number two, it doesn't sound finished. You could tell that they were like, oh, fuck, we're doing this reunion, and they just fucking, you know.
Yeah,
so
sounds horrible.
To me, it's like, it's not really, I mean, I know it's technically an official release, but
it's like
let's be honest.
It's like demos.
It's a half-baked album anyway. But there are a few songs on there I actually do like, man. I think It Never Goes Away is one by Paul. I think Paul had some really cool... That one I liked, and I liked It Never Goes Away, and what's the one? Tell Me?
I'm just going to grab it here and look at the track list on it, because I haven't picked this bitch up in fuck knows how long. Although I am buying it on vinyl just to complete.
You're a completist, aren't you, buddy?
Yep, absolutely. Where the fuck is it now? Carnival. Oh yeah, they were a piece of shit.
Well, even the cover. I mean, like, that wasn't even going to be the original cover. I saw the original cover, and I have to say the original cover looked pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know there was a different one. I mean,
the photo. Well, you got to understand, like, I know you don't like the record, but if you ever get a chance, you need to check out the Decibel Geeks podcast. They did a 2-part episode where they interviewed Toby Wright. Now, Toby Wright's a guy who's worked with Alice in Chains and Metallica, very respected guy in the business, and he talks about the record and how there was some, believe it or not, there was some anticipation for this record because Revenge, even though I feel it's an overrated album, it was Revenge. It's got some good songs, and it kind of got people to notice Kiss again in a way, but yet Revenge was a mixed bag because it didn't sell the units I think Kiss wanted to. Because that kind of style of rock, I think people kind of associated Kiss with the whole glam metal thing and hair metal thing that was going on, you know, which was their own fault because of some albums like fucking Crazy Nights and shit, and the way they dressed on Asylum, even though I think Asylum is a very underrated record. Sonically, Asylum's a heavier album. Their look is atrocious, but if you can get past that, there's some good songs on that record.
I love Asylum. Fucking absolutely. It's top 10. It's top fucking, definitely top 10 Kiss albums for me.
There's Master and Slave. I dig that song. Oh, you're killing me.
Oh, man.
And I like It Never Goes Away.
Ugh.
Other than that, I don't really care. It's okay. Like, it's just, I just felt like it was Kiss doing what they had been doing since 1979. So I'm not as anti-Carnival of Souls as some people. Cough, cough, DJ Mac. But I, you know, is there any songs on this record you like? Or do you just hate the whole fucking thing?
I hate the whole fucking thing. To be honest, I can't even remember. I haven't listened to this in fucking years, but it wasn't a case that I put it on and listened to it once or twice and, you know, said, oh, fuck that, it's shit, you know, I'm never listening to that again. I tried to fucking like it. I probably listened to it 10 times when I got it, you know, within a week period. And I you know, put it away, and I may have pulled it out once or twice since. Nah, just can't fucking stomach it. I think it sounds like shit. As you said, it's jumping on a trend that is definitely not them. Just not my thing at all.
Like I'm saying, I'm not defending it so much as just saying, you know, when people fucking bitch about it, I'm like, but dude, they've been doing that since, quite honestly, Dynasty. I mean, the minute Kiss decided to go disco, even though I don't think the whole Dynasty record's disco, but I'm here to tell you what at least 3 songs are. Dirty Living is a disco song. I defy anybody to tell me it's not.
Yeah, of course.
And so is fucking I Was Made for Loving You, and so is Sure Know Something. Let's be honest.
Charisma as well.
Charisma's kind of teetering.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say it's disco, but it's kind of teetering on the brink. But X-Ray Eyes sounds like a Kiss song to me. X-Ray Eyes sounds like a total Kiss song.
Yeah.
And so does Aces.
Magic Touch.
Magic Touch was pretty good too, man. I think it would have been a lot better if they'd had somebody else produce it, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But Kiss have been, you know, following trends ever since then. Like, as much as I love Creatures of the Night, that was a total reaction to 2 things. One, the cataclysmic fucking mega flop failure of The Elder, because it was. Let's not fucking have revisionist history. The Elder was great. No, it wasn't. Okay, it was a fucking mistake. It was a mistake. Now, it might be a mistake you people like. I'm not an Elder hater, but I'm not an Elder lover either. To me, that record's just way disjointed and fucking weird, man. You know, much like Carnival of Souls, it's just not Kiss. You know, like, I don't see how people, and that's what I mean, I don't see how people can slam on Carnival of Souls, but yet praise The Elder. I don't get that. I'm like, because to me, they're both the same thing. It's Kiss trying to be something they're fucking not, dude. Yeah. Okay? They're not Pink fucking Floyd. Okay? They're not Alice in Chains. All right? Let's just fucking, you know, be honest with ourselves. They're just not, you know? And that's not a bad thing. I'm not, you know, Kiss or Kiss. And I'm not saying, though, that Kiss has to do the same record over and over. I'm not one of those unreasonable fans that feel that way. You know, there's nothing wrong with a band experimenting or doing things. I mean, Kiss experimented. Look how, in fact, if you listen to the latest episode of Rock and Metal Combat Podcast, plugging you guys again, by the way, when they talked about Love Gun and how Gene would get really experimental, like when you hear a song like Almost Human, or even I Got Love for Sale, Gene was sometimes not afraid to kind of push the envelope and experiment, especially during that period, because let's face it, that's right before his solo album where he does some really off-the-wall shit on it. But my point that I'm trying to make is, Great Expectations was Kiss stepping out of their comfort zone. I love it, so it's not like I'm totally like, oh, every album has to sound like fucking... No, I'm not. But what I'm saying is it still has to be... It's kind of like what I said about Pantera with the Great Southern Trendkill, Mac. That was experimentation, but it worked. They were still Pantera. They still had that Pantera sound. I don't remember... Well, really, though, technically speaking, when the album came out, it was somewhat divisive. That album's a lot more universally loved now than when it came out. It was kind of ahead of its time. But I never heard anybody say, oh, well, Pantera's sold out, or Pantera's trying to be something they're not.
Yeah.
But there were some people that didn't really get the record when it came out. But with The Elder, man, The Elder was such a fucking departure from, and I think because of it, and because of Unmasked, and because of even Dynasty to a certain extent, a lot of your hard rock and heavy metal fans got disenchanted with Kiss, especially here in the States, dude. We just got to the point where we were like, well, fuck Kiss, We felt like they had abandoned us. Like they did a couple of disco songs. Well, let's do a whole album like that. Let's do a whole album of power pop, and don't even get me started on that record. See, I'll take fucking Carnival of Souls over Unmasked.
Oh no,
sorry, bro.
Give me Unmasked any day.
At least it's got balls. At least Carnival of Souls has got balls, dude. It might be fucking weird.
Balls on their fucking chin. That's where it has it.
I don't know. I think both albums could qualify for that. Balls on their...
We're going to discuss both those albums in detail at some stage.
Oh, really? This should be interesting. Yeah. Like I said, I hate Carnival of Souls. I'm not like, it's not on my top favorite Kiss records. It never will be, but I'll tell you what, I'll take it over fucking a few, Sorry, man, but to me, I don't see the difference between Carnival of Souls and The Elder. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I used to fucking hate The Elder as well. Couldn't stand that record for the longest time.
Same way. Yeah.
But I've grown to like some of it.
Yeah, there's a few good songs, dude. Look, what's sad about The Elder, when I listen to it and I'm like, the roots for a really good record are there. There's some good fucking riffs on that album. I mean, let's be honest, dude. If The Elder would have told a story but sounded like Creatures of the Night, it would have been fucking awesome.
Oh, hell yeah.
But, unfortunately, and that's why it pisses me off about Gene and Paul is if they'd just been willing to cooperate with fucking Space Ace and been like, okay, dude, we're going to still tell this story, but we'll make that really heavy record you want to make.
Hey, question for you. What's your favorite song on The Elder?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I like Dark Light a lot, just because of that amazing Ace Frehley solo.
Yeah, that's a killer.
I also like Under the Rose because of that riff, that dun-dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. It's catchy as fuck. And I like World Without Heroes. I prefer the unplugged version on Unplugged.
Yeah, but that's amazing.
Yeah, it is. It's fucking great. And I think that what's the fucking the one song really weird, doesn't fit the record
Just
at
a
all.
Boy.
Well, that song's fucking horrible. I'm with Ian.
That's my favorite song.
Are you fucking kidding me, man? No way!
Fucking love. It's my favorite song on the album.
Oh,
fucking
God.
That and Odyssey, and it's like one song goes into the other, and I fucking love it.
All right, now, okay, but there's Here, all right, now I gotta call you out, dude. I love you, man. You're telling me how? Okay, but how's that any different than In My Head? They're both shit that's way off the beaten path for Kiss.
Yeah,
but yet you like that.
I just love the fucking melodies in it.
I will say this though, Odyssey. this is going to sound like I'm playing both sides of the fence here. I'm not.
Okay.
Odyssey is a good track.
Yeah.
On its own. On its own. Let's leave it out of the Elder, leave it out of Kiss. If it was Paul Stanley doing a fucking Broadway show, it's fucking phenomenal. His vocal performance is great. It's a good song. I like it. It's a good song. But I don't feel that it fits in with Kiss, nor do I feel it really fits in with the Elder, with the story they're trying to tell. It makes little sense to me. They're talking about fucking traveling space when the Elder's supposed to be like a fantasy type of story. It just didn't make sense to me, even in a thematic level. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but on its own, like if it was Paul Stanley doing Broadway, I'd fucking go, fuck yeah, Paul, because that's what it sounds like when I hear it. I'm like, well, shit, man, this is kind of like what he later did when he did Phantom of the Opera. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of that same type of thing. And I think his vocal performance is fucking amazing, but I have to be honest, man. I don't really, I don't hate it. It's just one of the weird. It's an anomaly, you know.
Absolutely.
It's an anomaly, man. I guess what I'm trying to say, dude. And I know this is going to make me sound like a wishy-washy little bitch, but I kind of dig it, and I kind of don't. If that makes sense.
It's like, to me, it really is a guilty pleasure because I feel so dirty for liking it. But I just can't fucking help myself. I just think,
and that's what I'm saying. Like on its own as a song, I think it's a good song. I do. Like if it was a Paul Stanley solo album, I'd be like, fuck yeah, you know. And to me, it would make more sense because with a solo album, if Paul wanted to, he could go, well, hey man, I'm going to put some rockers, but I'm going to put this ballad on it. Hey, Paul can write a beautiful ballad, man.
Oh hell yeah.
I mean, really, as much as I hate Unmasked, Shandy was a beautiful ballad.
Yeah.
It's one of the better songs on that piece of shit record.
Yeah, it's not saying much for the fucking record.
I know. Right. It's a fucking terrible record, man. But,
we're going to have fucking fun. You know, there's a lot of very divisive, well, not even divisive. There's a lot of divisive albums and shit out there, but there's also a lot of stuff that you love that I hate, and or stuff that we both hate, rather. Or, you know, so I can't wait to get into that in the future.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And like I said, I don't want to, you know, I'm not defending Carnival Souls. Let me throw that out there. I just don't hate it as much as some people do. Like, I'm like, you know, like I hear people will fucking just condemn the fuck out of that record, but yet defend the Elder, and I'm going, what's the difference? Like, I don't see a difference, man. Because to me, it's Kiss going way out of there, like I said, and it's not like they hadn't done that before. I mean, when you look at Destroyer, dude, Great Expectations, I absolutely love that song. I love that song, but I can understand why a Kiss fan who bought the first 4 albums would have been like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I get it. I get that. You know, so, but to me, it was still Kiss. It still had the Ace Frehley crunch guitar. It was a cool tune. You know, it's just a cool fucking song, and you know, where I think that the Elder, man, it's just, to me, it was like, you know, they got, I don't know, it's just a weird record, man. It's just a weird fucking record, and I think it wasn't the right album to make at that time, you know. But with that being said, like I said, there's certain songs I listen to it and I go, you know, I can hear the roots to a really good record. And like you said, Odyssey on its own, I'm like, oh, what a really cool song. Like I said, if it was a Paul Stanley solo, I'd have been like, fuck yeah, man. And I know that might be weird because some people might be like, well, DJ Metal Mike, a good song's a good song no matter what. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm just saying I don't think Odyssey fit the Kiss mold, but more importantly, I don't think it even fit the thematic level of the album.
Yeah.
Like, if they had changed the lyrics, it would have been one thing, but they're talking about fucking traveling space like it's goddamn Star Wars and shit. And I'm like, they're not in space. What is this song even about? It just doesn't. And it was written by an outside writer. So, you know, Paul didn't write that song. So it's like, you know, just a strange. It's just strange, man. That's all. But anyway, we kind of went on into a Kiss vortex, as Scott Green likes to.
We tend to do that, though.
Yes, we do. I don't know what it is about that band, but there is something about them. It's like this fucking they're just a great band to talk about. The history of the band, and it's just they're like, I can talk about Kiss for hours, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And what's weird is they're not really my favorite. I mean, they're one of my favorite bands. I am a huge fan, but I'm a Black Sabbath guy, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so of course, let's see. Gene was talking about like this guy, this IP lawyer group. Trademark attorney Michael Cohen with Cohen IP Law Group in Beverly Hills, who deals with trademarks, patent, and copyright infringement cases, told the Los Angeles Times that it would have been very difficult for Simmons' application to be approved because the gesture has become genericized. So there you go, right there, man. It's like, And then in issue 196 of Classic Rock magazine, Simmons revealed where he got the idea for the gesture, explaining that it was inspired by Spider-Man and the way he shoots cuts from his wrist, which I knew that. Look, I noticed Gene making that symbol for a long fucking time. Yes, it's similar to Dio, but it's also different. And guess what, dude? There were people doing it before Dio. There's a band. They kind of had a satanic theme.
Coven.
Not heavy metal at all. Coven. They're fucking sporting the fucking devil horns like in 69, 70?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, way before. It's like, Gene, you don't. I mean, like he said right here, Simmons told Classic Rock, we lay down the templates. When you see bands rocking out in sync, that's us. When you see bands putting up that two-finger devil horn salute, that started with Kiss. When asked if Ronnie James Dio actually started, Simmons said, well, I've heard Ronnie say that to my face. And I said, well, God bless you, Ronnie. I mean him no ill will, but I think he's wrong. Mine came from Spider-Man doing his hand signal as a homage to him. If you see me in photos, I'm sticking out my thumb. That's the sign in sign language, which means I love you. Ryan James Dio's widow, Wendy, also criticized Simmons for attempting to trademark the hand sign. She told the Rap, to try to make money off of something like this is disgusting. It belongs to everyone. It doesn't belong to anyone. It's a public domain. It should not be trademarked. And I feel the same way. But like I said, to me, I think Gene's just sitting back right now and laughing his ass off. Look how much publicity he got off this, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, because of him, we just went into another goddamn Kiss vortex. Thanks, Gene.
Yep, it's his mission's been accomplished.
Exactly, motherfucker.
Yeah, we're all talking about him. So, but yeah, it's fucking crazy how you can go into these tangents to do with Kiss. There's just so much to fucking talk about.
Right. Well, I go on tangents about a lot of bands and a lot of different, like I said, I've pissed off some Black Sabbath fans that feel that, well, there's been some people, I prefer the Ronnie. Well, that, to me, that's fucked up. But I mean, everybody has their own opinion, and I respect that. And I love Ronnie James Dio. So before we go any further, I want to throw that out there. But come on, man, like, Dio Sabbath over Ozzy, I just don't see it, man. I don't hear it. I mean, to me, I'm with Zakk Wylde and so many others. They should have changed the name of the band. I understood why they can't or couldn't at the time, but to me, that's Heaven and Hell, not Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
Is Heaven and Hell a great band? You're fucking right, man. I love that version of Sabbath, but it's not. It was a different band when Ronnie joined. It was a completely different band, man. Sure. And I just don't see how, but I remember some people were pissed off and like blaming Sharon Osbourne. Oh, well, because of her greedy ass, when they got back together in 2007, they fucking, they had to call it Heaven and Hell. Sharon Osbourne had nothing to do with that, you fucking idiots. Sharon had look, I mean, I'm not the world's biggest Sharon Osbourne fan. Let's throw that out there right now, but she had nothing to do with that. I think the reason why Tony and Ronnie and them opted to do that is so people wouldn't be confused. Because by that point, the original Sabbath had already gotten back together and had been touring for some time.
Yep, exactly.
If they would have said Black Sabbath with Ronnie, it would have just confused everybody. So they called themselves Heaven and Hell. I didn't have a problem with it. As far as I'm concerned, they should have been fucking called in the first fucking place, man.
Agree with you, man.
It's not, without the original four, it's just not the same. And I feel that way, even though I went to see him. A buddy of mine, he said, hey, dude, if you drive me there and pay for the hotel rooms, I got you a fucking concert or ticket to Black Sabbath.
Nice.
All right, cool. It's 3/4 Sabbath, but I'll go. And I went, and it was a blast, but it still wasn't. I saw 3/4 of Sabbath.
Yeah.
I saw almost Sabbath. I didn't see Black Sabbath. I've seen Black Sabbath, okay, twice, the original, lineup. So, yeah. I mean, but I still don't feel like it was Black Sabbath, but what else, they're not going to change the name, obviously, I'm a big Bill Ward fan. I'm a huge fan of the original Sabbath, and yeah, it sucks that went down the way it went down, but, they call it the music business for a reason. And sometimes it is just a business, man. And it sucks.
Yep. Well, it's business first.
Yeah. Oh, totally, man. Totally. I get it. I totally get it. It's like, you do what you got to do, and that's just the way it is.
It's all about the money. It's all about the moolah. But
yeah, I mean, like I said, I love Heaven and Hell. I love Born Again with Ian Gillan. They were going to change the name of the band, or call it Born Again. Once again, record companies fucking nixed that idea. So
yeah. All right. What have you got for us next, Mike?
Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay, a while back, as I said, I'm Facebook friends with Kirk Weinstein, and he he posted this thing, he shared it, where this, I'm not even going to name this guy. It's for some fucking online thing, something to do with Colorado. And this fuckstick, so-called fucking, music reviewer, reviewed Metallica's concert. This is June 8th, 2017. And I'm going to read a little bit of this to you just because it's the only way I can give it to you and give it justice. Are you ready for this shit?
Yep.
Rapid fire drums, stroboscopic lights, laser beams, thrash metal maniacal guitar riffs, eyebrow melting flames, fireworks. At Sports Authority Field or Mile High Stadium or whatever it's called these days, tens of thousands gathered on Wednesday, June 7th at a sold-out show to watch the heavy metal giants and Metallica pound the crowd with their signature aggression. A few dozen concert-goers moshed as James Hetfield, Lars Ulrich, Kirk Hammett, and Robert Trujillo joyfully blasted fans with sound, fire, and violent imagery. In the right light, the crowd looked like enthusiastic pigs in an overpacked feedlot. We moved to the same beats. We cheered at the same time. Our rage was subsumed by the enormity of Metallica's spectacle, not to mention Hammett's hair metal sex appeal. It was compelling. Okay, now, actually, the beginning of it I didn't have a problem with, but then he ends it with hair metal. Like, really, dude? Really? Like, right there, that's a mark against you right there.
Yeah.
You obviously don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, all credibility is gone.
Just went right out the fucking window.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Fuck this guy. Go on. keep going. Make me fucking angry here.
All right, it gets better. Ginormous screens, which were the only thing that kept the artist from looking like irrelevant specks to most of the fans, broadcast images of the musicians, who looked so big that at some point I started wondering if Hetfield's nose was taller than me. And a stadium... Oh, it gets better. Are you ready? This is where it really fucking goes off. All right.
Okay.
This is when he brings politics into it.
Oh.
Another fucking, social justice warrior. And again, I want everybody to know I'm neither liberal or conservative, really. I'm not a Republican nor a Democrat. I think I've already made that. If people have been listening to this podcast, they know how I feel about that shit.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I do get tired of the wine bag crying motherfuckers on both sides of the parties. Wah, wah. It's like, shut the fuck. Why do you always have to bring your bullshit? And here people are going to this concert. They're going to have a good fucking time. The last thing they want to think about is politics. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, my music is an escape from that bullshit. Not, even though I do know some artists sometimes get political, of course, Megadeth have. I don't mind. Look, I don't give a fuck what your stance is. As long as you rock, that's my fucking, I don't care what your message is. Whether I agree with it or not. If you put on a fucking killer show and it's a killer fucking track, I'll be like, well, I don't really agree with that politically, but goddamn, that fucking rocks, Well, this guy, man, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Man? Hey, DJ Kane, what's up?
What's up?
Another DJ at the station, my nephew DJ Kane. You can check out his show every Sunday night from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on thatmetalstation.com. Plug. Anyway, in a stadium so vast, the whole thing felt like a rally concocted by Lenny Riefenstahl in Triumph of the Will.
What?
Yes.
What the fuck?
Yeah, this guy went there. That's like, I'm like, wow. So you're comparing a Metallica concert to Nazi propaganda. Wow.
God.
Being there helped me imagine how thousands gathered after Hitler came to power, wowed by a daddy figure who offered up nothing but charisma, hate, and brutality. Look, it was just another stadium concert, right? That's just how they work. But Metallica is no Justin Bieber. The band's vision of the world is introspective and crouched in mass violence. The soar of horror perpetrated by big bombs, big armies, and big nations. It's the music of the trauma of war. It's wholly American, for better or for worse. It's in its power and it's in its rage.
Fuck this guy.
I know, right?
Oh,
I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like everything's fucking. It's like whatever they can do to basically push their political agenda. It's like, okay, we get it. You fucking hate Trump. I get it. Now shut the fuck up. Like, serious. No one cares. And here's another thing I want to get off my chest. I'm not a Trump supporter, but I'm not a Trump hater either. And I'm pretty much ambivalent when it comes to both these fucking idiots. And I'm talking the Democrats and the Republicans. But these idiots, and they both are guilty of it. When Bush was in press, he was a warmonger. And then fucking, he leaves, and then of course Obama takes over, and all I heard from the right was, oh my god, it's gonna be like communist Russia now. Really? Really? And now we got, it's like Nazi Germany, it's like the night of broken glass. You people are fucking retarded. Anybody who says that shit should be fucking kicked in the teeth, and I'll tell you why. That is disparaging the people, the poor motherfucking souls who had to live under the regimes of Hitler and Stalin. You have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
None. You don't have a fucking clue. You're fucking morons. Fuck off.
Yeah.
I'm serious, man. Now I'm like, what? Really? Okay. Yeah, you're right, man. It's just like Stalin and Hitler. Shut the fuck up, man. And here's another thing I want to get off my fucking chest. My life has not improved or gotten worse, no matter who fucking president was. Want to know why? Because at the end of the day, neither party, neither candidate gives a fuck about the little people. The sooner people figure that out, the better off they'll be. I'm sorry, dude. I don't. Oh my god, this shit pisses me off.
Well fucking said, Mike. But what's this guy's called? What's this guy's name?
Oh, you want to know? Yeah, I'll give you his name. Kyle Harris, and it's for Westward. www.westward.com. And it says right here, Metallica's Denver concert evoked totalitarian violence and Trump-era politics. Really?
Yeah,
I'm like, really, man? And then it says right here, the band's shock and awe style comes off as ideologically muscular. The perfect soundtrack for far-right Republican leadership. Coincidentally, the hyper-manly band last showed up in Denver 9 years ago towards the end of W's warmongering presidency, and now this year early on in Trump's. Does the band actually embrace boots on the ground, blow 'em up militarism, or its music merely a response to all that noise? Maybe it doesn't matter too much what the musicians believe they're doing. Think Bruce Springsteen's Born in the USA, and how many nationalists hawk at it as an ode to Americanism. It's always the art itself that matters. Metallica's music is rooted in the 80s, the era of GOP austerity and Cold War swagger, and the Iran consequences, with Trump and Russia and political scandal galore. Not to mention an unprecedented political fury stabbing and punching its way across the United States between people of opposing views. Metallica's brand of rock is the perfect steam valve for this moment. Perhaps the Outfit stadium show provided an alternative to violent political machination. Still, when the band broke out, Master of Puppets, tens of thousands of us belted out, "Obey your master."
Oh,
it was there.
Fuck.
It was pretty creepy. There is something ethically ambivalent about Metallica that raises a profound question. Does the band embrace or repudiate state violence? Is the music a deeply rebellious act, or just another injection of speed into the arm of a violent system? Metallica forces us to ask those questions, to feel the violence. But it's not up to an artist to decide what his or her music produces. It's up to us. This guy, and then get this, here's the best. Kyle Harris, Westward's culture editor, quit making documentaries and started writing when he realized he could tell hundreds of stories in the same amount of time it takes to make one movie. Before coming to Westward, he worked as the managing editor of the Colorado Independent. He has gardened his front yard to some neighbors' disdain and others' delight, played angry folk music at DIY spaces nationwide, curated a micro cinema, and written about everything from experimental film and Paula Armory to political backroom shenanigans and urban gardeners feuds. This guy sounds like a complete fucktool, fucktard, fuckstick,
Dickhead.
Fucking moron. Yeah, like really. Number one, obviously he's not a metal fan. Like like you said, his credentials went right out the window when he said that Kirk Hammett's what was it? Hair
metal,
glam metal,
yeah,
hair metal sex appeal.
What kind of publication is this magazine? Is it?
It's got to be left wing, dude. It just has to be. It has to be.
But is it a political site, or is it a news site, or?
It's from the Colorado area, and it's a latest Denver news. They've got concerts, art, open and shut cases, cafe society, science. It's a little bit of everything, but
sounds like a fucking rag.
Yeah, I'm just amazed by how do you read all that into that?
Yeah, that is just
what the
fucking ridiculous.
Like, there's something wrong with you, man. Like you're reading a concert into a Nazi propaganda film.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
Yeah,
I don't give a fuck what side of the aisle you're on. That's fucked up.
That's just trying to push an agenda. Plain and simple. Yeah.
And to get attention. I mean, after all, we're talking about the fuck stick.
Mm-hmm.
But I hope he's listening. I hope somebody tells him about us. Because you're a fucking moron, dude. You're a tool. I'd love to have you on the podcast just so I could rip you to fucking shreds.
Yep.
You, sir, are a fucking idiot. Like, you are what's wrong with this whole political divisiveness that's going on in my country. You're the type of people that's responsible for it. And hey, they're on both sides. They're on both sides. I'm not taking, but it's shit like that where I'm just like...
It's shit like this is driving everything on.
Oh my God. Like, how, and what kind of cracks me up, now I don't know about all the members of Metallica, but I know Kirk Hammett has been very vocal about his criticism of Trump. Mm-hmm. So obviously this dude has no clue what he's talking about. Man.
Yeah.
Like, that is the most fucked up review for any kind of music or concert I have ever read. And I've been walking this earth for 46 years, dude. I have never, ever read anything so fucking asinine and fucking butt-fuck retarded ever. Inbred, fucktard bullshit. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, that takes the fucking biscuit right there.
Dude, the cake and the biscuit, it takes the whole goddamn fucking smorgasbord as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, fuck
like,
that.
There ain't no fucking food left after this motherfucker.
And any Metallica fans out there that's listening to this and agrees that this guy is a fucking cock gobbler, then, well, what's the name of that piece of shit again?
Oh,
The West something?
Oh shit! I just hold on a minute, man.
Well, whatever it
I'll
was.
find it, dude. Right here, I can
Email that cunt.
Westward. Then news and events.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just email them and say, what is this motherfucker talking about? He obviously hasn't a fucking clue, and what he's doing, it isn't smart. You know, it's what's it gonna achieve? Nothing. That's fucking ridiculous, man.
You know, I know, and when Kirk posted it, he even said, he goes, I'm fucking speechless, you know. So I was like, well, what's got Kirk riled up? I know it couldn't have, I didn't, but my God, when I read it, I'm like, what? Like, what? I mean, like, wow, you're going to compare it to Triumph of the Will. Really? Wow. That is just fucking insane to me, man. That is just like, I've never, ever, yeah.
Yeah, fuck that guy. But anyone that has a problem with that, and you're listening, fucking shoot them cons an email and let them know what a fucking dick they have writing for them. That's just...
Yeah, I agree, man.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God, I'm looking at this. Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, some of the bands they got on here listed are actually pretty cool, but give me a break. One of them, you know, they lost credibility. Of course, they never had any. Rolling Stone just recently came out with the 100 greatest metal albums of all time. I've got a problem with this immediately. Mm-hmm. Anybody who knows me knows that I detest Rolling Stone magazine. I think it's a useless fucking rag. I've always thought it was a useless fucking rag. I've never felt that it supported hard rock or heavy metal. Still don't. So to me, for them to do 100, greatest metal albums is ridiculous anyway. Like I give a fuck about your fucking opinions. Mm-hmm. You know, seriously. I mean, this is the magazine who trashed Zeppelin, Sabbath, Kiss, all the great bands. All the great bands of the 70s, man. Name them, Rush, AC/DC, they trashed them all. Mm-hmm. And now you're going to tell us what's metal and what ain't. And like here, they even said that, right here, like they said, we did, that they basically began picking the 100 greatest heavy metal albums. We set some ground rules. Although the genre's late 60s and early 70s forebears, not just giants like Cream, Zeppelin, and Deep Purple, but also less iconic yet equally heavy bands such as Mountain, Cambion, and Sir Lord Baltimore, created some truly unruly metal moments. Their LPs often made folksy blah blah blah. So anyway, they're saying they took detours. They're also excluding AC/DC and Guns N' Roses, but because they're missing the X factor that separates their music from metal. And then they also said some bands that Rolling Stone deemed metal in the 70s, sometimes as a pejorative, and made classic albums like Kiss, Alice Cooper, and Grand Funk Railroad. In retrospect, some more like hard rock than the genuine article, and are absent here. Okay, so they say all this shit, right? Mm-hmm. They also said Quiet Riot's Metal Health didn't make the cut because their tracks list fizzled past the hits. Okay, well, obviously you've never listened to Metal Health. Number 100, they got Avenged Sevenfold. Now, I'm not the world's biggest Avenged Sevenfold fan, but whatever, you know. But then Evanescence? I'm sorry, Evanescence is not a metal band.
Yeah, no. Evanescence
is a pop band trying to be metal. They are trying to do what Lacuna Coil did. Lacuna Coil are a metal band. Mm-hmm. And they basically just took their formula and then made it more palpable, in my opinion. Sun, see, I'm not even sure I'd classify them as metal. Gojira, yeah, they're metal. So, yeah, I don't know, man. But as I said, I have an issue with this already because you're basically... And they got some great albums on this list, don't get me wrong. But at the same time, it's like, it's fucking Rolling Stone.
Yeah, they're not the there we go, tongue fart. Authoritarians on fucking heavy metal.
Not at all. Yeah. Like, you're a fucking joke. Mm-hmm. You're a fucking joke, man. You're fucking... It's, I mean, as I said, they never... I mean, why do you think it's taken so... Because guess what, folks? The people who run Rolling Stone magazine also run the so-called Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's a reason why a lot of the bands you love have never gotten in, and that's why I don't understand why people get who gives a fuck, man? You know, I wish they would deduct my bands because I hate the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's a fucking, in the immortal words of Johnny Rotten, it's a fucking piss stain, and I wouldn't give that place the time of my day.
Yeah, it's a farce.
Yeah, fuck them. Fuck the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And fuck Rolling Stone magazine. I mean, I don't know. Have you ever seen the movie Almost Famous, Mac?
Yeah, years ago I've seen it.
There's a fucking part, though, where they talk about Rolling Stone, and they call him the enemy. And they even said in the movie, this is the band that fucking trashed Zeppelin and Sabbath. Exactly. They are the enemy. They have always been the enemy. So fuck them, and fuck their so-called 100 greatest fucking albums. Fuck you, Rolling Stone, eternally. You suck huge demon cock. You're a fucking worthless trash. In fact, you're just a step above that fucking idiot. You know, you should hire him to write for your magazine. Yeah. Because that's how fucking much credibility you fucks have.
They're on the same fucking wavelength.
Yeah. Fucking fuck Rolling Stone.
Yeah.
Anyway, Peter Criss is apparently calling it quits for good, dude, as far as touring.
I'm sad about that.
Here we go. Yeah, here we go into the Kiss vortex again.
Absolutely.
But hey, fuck it, we like it. Original Kiss drummer Peter Criss played what was being billed as his final U.S. concert this past Saturday, June 17th, at the Cutting Room in New York City. He says Criss handled the vocals and some of the drums of the show, and was backed by musical director and keyboardist Alex Saltzman, guitarist Eric Rudick from the band The Cold Seas, and a horn and string section. He said Chris's set consisted of Kiss classics and his solo songs, including I Can't Stop the Rain from the 1978 solo album Peter Criss. You know, I want to go on a side tangent. Not really a tangent, but a little note on that. If I may, DJ
Yes,
Mac.
please do.
Why, for the life of me, did Casablanca not release that as the single? That is a beautiful ballad.
Yep, great song, yep.
And he had already had a huge hit with Beth, with Kiss. Why in the fuck would you not release that as the single? In fact, he ended up releasing 2 singles from his album. And I just don't get that, man. I'm like... And I just don't... to me, that's a head-scratcher, man. Talk about a kissed opportunity right there. I mean... I just don't understand why they didn't release that as a single. I mean, am I crazy for thinking that? Or
No, you're not crazy at all. But what was it that they did release? It was it Tossing and Turning? No,
I think so. I think it was Tossing and Turning, and but you know, I'm not really sure. I'm gonna check that out real quick.
Because if it was down to me, my favorite. I love that album. Don't give a fuck what anyone thinks. It's it's my favorite of the 78 solo albums.
Don't you let me down.
Yeah.
And You Matter to Me. Wow, you really are a Peter Criss fan.
My favorite song on Peter Criss's album is the opening track, I'm Gonna Love You. I think that's fucking awesome. What else? I really like I like You Matter to Me. Don't You Let Me Down's fucking beautiful. Love that. I
really like, again, man, maybe it's just because Peter's so good at it, but I really like the I Can't Stop the Rain, Kiss the Girl Goodbye.
Good song.
The fucking ballads are great. I liked Hooked on Rock and Roll. I gotta be honest with you, though, at the time when it came out, 8-year-old Mike, well, what month did these out? I was almost 8. Yeah, it was, I believe, September 18th, 1978. So I was 7 going on 8 years old. And I remember when these came out, and I remember going, what is this? Like, I was expecting Baby Driver, which I know you probably are glad that it wasn't, and Hooligan, and maybe a little bit of Beth, but I was expecting Mainline and you know, songs like that. I wasn't expecting because it was Kiss, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I was young, I didn't realize, well, this is Peter doing his thing, his solo thing. Yeah. So I gotta be honest with you, I didn't really care for it at the time. As I've gotten older, and there's still some of it, I'm like, I'm not a real big, you know,
big fan of it.
Still not, it's still probably my opinion. I don't know, I'd give it maybe an equal to Gene's.
All right. I was just going to say, would you put it above or below Jeans?
Not equal.
Right.
At one time, I would have put Jeans above, but now as I've gotten older and I've listened to it, and I kind of appreciate what Peter was trying to do. Kind of like even Gene. Gene's solo album has moments. I mean, there's a few cool songs that I like on Gene's album. Unfortunately, I gotta be honest, I don't know. It's just weird. It's like, to me, Radioactive, again, Gene's album, even more than Peter's in a lot of ways, is very eclectic and just fucking out there. What's really weird about it is, again, I was expecting the Demon. 7-year-old going on 8-year-old Mike was like, what? I didn't get this record at all. Didn't like it at all. Well, see, Kane likes it. A lot of people do. Again, though, I kind of feel about this album the way I do about Elder DJ Kane. It's very disjointed to me. It's not a very good Kiss record. Oh, no, well, it's not a Kiss record at all. It's Gene Simmons, so, there you go. I like Always Knew You and Nowhere to Hide until they get to the chorus part. And then Gene starts singing the falsetto like Barry Gibb. I'm like, that fucking bothered me. But I thought that was a really... See You Tonight, I think, is a beautiful, very Beatle-esque type ballad.
I love that song.
I love that song, yeah. So I'm not going to sit there... Even Man of a Thousand Faces, I think, would have been a cooler song, though, where instead of strings, if they would have had just somebody on guitar, like I think Man of a Thousand Faces could have been a killer rockin' tune. Like Ace actually said one time when he listened to that, he's like, "Oh, I would have loved to have played my guitar over that, da da, the whole symphony part." Like he's like, "Oh, I would have ripped it," and I'm like, "That would have been cool."
Yeah,
Mr. Makeley even. But See You in Your Dreams with the female singers, I'm not real big on it. I'd rather have the original. And honestly, See You in Your Dreams is probably my least favorite song off Rock and Roll Over. And I think we talked about that when we did the review. I'm pretty sure that was my least favorite. True Confessions is another one that it's just fucking weird, man. Like, I hear the album and some of the, I don't know, like Radioactive, kind of a sign of things to come. Very almost disco-esque. I don't know, and then it ends with "Wish You." You know what? I might think I like Peter's better. To be honest, well, at least it's consistent. Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, Aces was the best by a fucking mile.
Aces was good. It's my second favorite, then followed by Paul and Gene, obviously. I don't know. I'm just that much of a Peter Criss nut swinger.
I respect that, dude.
Except for Baby Driver,
See, but that cracks me up. You'll take "I'm Gonna Love You" over "Baby Driver," man.
All night.
Baby Driver rocks. So it's heavy as fuck, and Peter's vocals on it rule.
Yeah, he does a killer job vocally, but I don't know. I just never really liked the song. But
hey, man. That's like, I think "Hooked on Rock and Roll," out of all the songs on his, besides the ballads, I could have heard them on a Kiss album, because once they did Beth, they kind of broke that mold. And but I think "Hooked on Rock and Roll" would have been a good Kiss song.
Yeah. What about, do you like "I Can't Stop the Rain"?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, nice. That's why I'm saying, to me, that should have been the single. Yeah. He did "Don't You Let Me Down" and "You Matter to Me." They actually put out 2 singles, because "Don't You Let Me Down" didn't do shit. Yeah. And I'm thinking, what the fuck was Casablanca Records thinking? Yeah. They should have put out fucking I don't know. I just feel like they should have put that fucking out as the single. I think it would have been huge. That is a beautiful ballad. And as much as chicks were all fucking into Peter Criss at that point in time because of Beth, you're telling me that song wouldn't have been a fucking hit? I just don't believe it, man. I just don't. So I really think, I don't know whose decision that was. I would love to ask Peter, like, dude, why didn't you release that as the single, man? Maybe he had his reasons. Maybe he didn't want to be seen as the ballad guy. I don't know. No, man. But to me, it's just like, well, fuck, dude. You already kind of established that identity with Beth. You know what I mean? So,
yeah. Didn't want to be typecast, I suppose.
Maybe I don't know, or maybe it was the record. I would have liked to know whose decision it was to release "Don't You Let Me Down" and "You Matter to Me," because I just feel like even "Hooked on Rock and Roll" I think would have been a better single, personally. I'm just, it's just my personal opinion, but I can't for the life of me understand why they didn't put "I Can't Stop the Rain" out as a fucking single, dude, because I think it would have been a massive hit. I mean, am I crazy for thinking that?
No.
Or
No, you're bang on the money. Yeah, I would agree with you.
Yeah, it's just kind of like, what the fuck, man? I kind of got to scratch my head on that one, dude.
Just going back to the last performance there, did you watch any of the videos?
I watched him do Beth, and I thought he sounded fine.
Yeah.
I read somebody panning at him. I'm like, well, he's 71 years old for one thing. Give him a fucking break. And it's not like he's just doing a few one-off farewell shows. It's not like he's trying to do a fucking 60-city fucking tour and doing shit that, I think what I'm trying to point out is Peter knows his limitations.
Yeah. I noticed as well that the guitar player, what was his name? Was it Eric something?
Eric Rudick? Yeah.
He seemed to be singing a lot of material as well.
Right.
Songs, Peter seemed to be setting them out. There's times, I can't remember, I think it was Strutter. Peter is just standing there, at the mic, and he's clapping his hands, and this Eric Ruddick guy's doing the vocals. So, I don't know, is that maybe Peter's just, does he feel he's not fit vocally to do the full show or whatever? But what he did sing, he sounded fucking great. I mean, as you said, he's 71 fucking years of age. He's one of my favourite singers of all time. I'm sad that he's retiring, but I'm also happy, that he's going to enjoy the last however long he has, and chill out, relax. He's earned it.
He's earned it. Yeah, I mean, hey, he's and I'm happy for him. Because here's the thing: at least he has enough sense to go, okay, man, I'm done.
Yeah, he's not going to do a pull and fucking scream down the mic.
Because here's the thing that pissed me off about Paul, man, and I want to stress again, I love Paul. Okay, so when I see things that are critical, it's not because I hate the guy. But I just gotta call it like I see it, man. And to me, that's the way that's the way you gotta be, man. It's like with me, I want. Hold on, dude. Hey, where the fuck was I? Oh, Paul.
Yeah.
Basically, like I said, I've said a lot of critical things about the guy, but it's like with me, I want people to be honest with me. If I suck at something, or your real friends are going to tell you what's up. Yeah. And the problem with guys like Kiss or any band who makes it, they have so many fucking yes men and ass slickers around them that they're protected by this inner circle. And I think with Paul, though, what's sad about him is, from what I understand, he's so fucking and I'm only going by what some people like Eddie Trunk say. And I know Eddie Trunk has been a controversial figure. I know there's some people that aren't the world's biggest fan of him. I can understand why. I think Eddie sometimes is a bit egotistical. I don't think he's a bad guy, but he takes a lot of credit for shit, and I'm going, dude, I don't... Yeah, I mean, you were instrumental in getting Twisted Sister back. I'll give you that. But like a while back, he said that he feels like he's responsible for the UFO resurgence. I'm like, well, number one, I didn't know there was a UFO resurgence.
It's fucking
maybe there is, but and maybe there is. Maybe people are buying UFO albums and I don't know it, but it's just he'll just say some of the off the wall shit, But at the same time, though, because he's not a big fan of what Kiss is doing now, it's like he's been exiled from Kissdom. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, big time.
And I don't think that's right either, because here's a guy who, you can see what you want about Eddie Trunk, but he has always supported Kiss through all their various lineups, through all their fucking phases and things they did, you know, he supported them 100%, you know? And I think that, you know, from what I understand, Paul's a guy who's very, very sensitive, and he just can't take any kind of criticism. Well, you know, dude, the thing is, man, you said yourself that Peter was past his prime and Ace was past his prime. Well, I think Ace has pretty much proven that wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like, I saw the guy live, and he fucking brought it, you know. That old man still fucking kick ass. You know, Peter maybe, yeah, Peter ain't the drummer he was in 1977. I mean, I think that's fucking obvious to anyone with ears or eyes. But, you know, it's like, dude, have you looked in the mirror lately? Like you said, he's croaking out his vocals now, which breaks my fucking heart, man. I'm supposed to go to the Chicago Open Air with our media relations person from that metal station, media relations expert, whatever you want to call her, Sarah G.S. And there's like 3 nights, and on one of the nights, Kiss is headlining. And I'm like, I'm going to go ahead and go with her, but I'm just like, I don't know if I want to see that. And it's not so much about the copy and, you know, which, again, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see 2 motherfuckers dressed up as Ace and Peter. But what I really don't want to see is the Star Child struggling. I don't want to see it, dude. You know, it's like watching an old fighter get his fucking ass beat. I don't want to see that shit. It's going to break my fucking heart.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so as far as I'm concerned, yeah, you know, it just kind of cracks me up that he was so critical of Peter, you know, and oh, well, he's past, he ain't got it no more. Well, Paul, neither do you.
Paul's neither fucking worse. So, I mean, you know, I'm not making excuses for Peter. Like, Peter's drums were triggered, and, you know, there was different things done for him.
Well, Jesus Christ, the guy's got fucking carpal tunnel syndrome, and he's in his 70s.
But
well, at that point, 60s.
At least he was still fit to perform. He was still fit to drum. Yeah, he was mic'd up, you know, and it helped boost the sound. But you can't trigger fucking Paul's vocals unless you pull out a fucking recording from the fucking, I don't know, Hot in the Shade tour and have him fucking mime to it. Paul's fucked. I mean, Peter, say what you want about him, he still played. Paul is, he's not fit for purpose these days. I just couldn't justify handing over the, you know, the guts of $100 to go see him murder some of my favorite songs.
No, I won't go, you know, I mean, I'm only going to this thing because there's a bunch of other bands being there.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to try to fucking talk Sarah into leaving KissCon because I don't want to see it, dude.
Yeah.
I don't want to see it.
But, I mean, he talks so much shit about fucking Peter, but, I mean, look at him now, himself, so...
Yeah, and, you know, I think also, dude, he's, I'm trying to find the right word. He's too stubborn, though, to do what, well, I'm trying to find the right word. I'm sorry, dude. I know we're running out of time here.
Okay.
He's so like, maybe he ought to start using a goddamn tape cart. You know what I mean? And you know, instead of shredding his voice, but he's not going to do that because, you know, he's stubborn, and that's why I'm like, well, Paul, if you're too stubborn to do that, then you need to just fucking let it go, and you have nothing left to prove.
Yeah, hang it up.
Just stop, man, already. You know, I really wish they would have stopped with the farewell tour. I'm sorry, but I do.
Yeah, but there we have it. Peter Criss, last show in the US. So, all the best, Peter. I wish I would get to see him one more time. Can't see that happening. Don't think he's going to come over this direction. But you never know. Maybe if he does, I'll be fucking there anyway. But yeah. That's us for another week, Mike.
And the immortal words of Forrest Gump, that's all I've got to say about that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's another week, another episode in the fucking can. So as we touched on earlier, we have a couple of guests lined up. So hopefully we'll get them out in the next couple of weeks. But before we go, I just want to mention that on the website, now mindovermetalpodcast.com. If you click the contact link, not only can you send us, a message or whatever, a query, but there's also a box where you can submit your music if you want us to check it out, play it on the station, or maybe do something here on the podcast. But I've already had 2 submissions. One's an American band and one's a band from the UK. Can't remember their names off the top of my head, but they're fucking killer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah,
You'll have to send me over their stuff, dude.
I have it right here. Oh, hang on. What is it? Show in folder. Just like it's the name of the band. I'm terrible with fucking names. The first band is called... Yeah, my computer starts to fucking act slow now. Details. Oh, it's not giving it to me. I'll post it on the Facebook
Oh, that's
page.
cool, dude.
But I'll send you on the music. The band from England especially, their influences are Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath. But
oh, nice.
Yeah, so if you can imagine a mixture between Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath, but the singer sings like fucking what's his first name? The Oliva guy from Savatage. I hear a lot of that in his voice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty fucking cool. I just literally went on, seen that we had 2 submissions, listened to them very briefly, both cool, but I'm definitely going to check them out more. But just to let you know, if you want to submit music, just go to the website, click the link, bang it over to us, and
sweet,
we'll check it out. And nothing else from me. What about you, Mike?
Well, there is one thing you need to mention real quick. You're changing your time slot on that
right.
metal station.
Yes. Thank you. Nearly forgot. I am moving from Wednesdays to Fridays, and I'm going to be doing the 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time slot right before Metal Mike. So you're getting us on the podcast, and then you're getting a double dose of us.
Fucking right, man. So now we're a team on the station, dude. It's going to rule. Fridays absolutely. Is going to rule. Between you, me, and then DJ Sato afterwards, fuck, dude.
Yeah. There's really
we're
weekend chocked full of live shows now. Because, there was that space on a Friday where no one was really on until you came on. But,
right.
I mean, it's it's all going now.
That's awesome, dude. And another thing I wanted to throw out there was that, now this Friday... I won't be there for your debut. I mean, I'll be listening, but I won't be on the air. DJ Walter's Wall of Woe is using that slot because he's doing a live show with his laptop from a venue with a band. So he asked me a month ago, hey, man, and I was like, sure, dude, whatever helps the station. And but next Friday, dude, I will be following you, and it's going to fucking rule. Yeah. And yeah, I couldn't ask for a better opening act.
Yes.
Anyway, man, so I guess we're done here, ain't we?
Yeah, that's us. Just want to say, look, as I said at the start of the show, keep the reviews coming in. Remember the competition. We'll get some t-shirts and some other shit out to you if you win. All you have to do is leave us a review, a couple of lines about the show, and we'll read them out. So, anything else now, Mike?
Everything DJ Max said, and, please support the podcast. We appreciate everybody listening. Please, by all means, give us, even if you think we fucking suck huge demon cock, let us know, man. Yep. But, let us know why we suck huge demon cock. Don't just say you suck. I mean, explain why we suck. And the other thing is, make sure you check out that metalstation.com, man. We're not just an online radio station. We have written content. We're even getting video reviews. And check out the time slots, and we got merchandise there too, so check us out, man. Check out that metalstation.com and keep supporting us, and please, by all means, buy merch for that metal station and this podcast. Thank you very much. Have a good night, motherfuckers, and stay metal.
Nice. Later, guys. What's up, everybody? This is DJ Mac, and I just want to tell you guys that my show is now moved to Fridays, 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on that metal station. Kick off your fucking weekend with the best in hard rock and heavy metal. Same show, different fucking day. That's Max Mind Over Metal. Fridays, 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here, thatmetalstation.com.
Hey everybody, this is DJ Metal Mike, and you need to check out the Metal Mike Show every fucking Friday night from 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Check out the Crusader of Metal Show, DJ King. Bringing metal to the masses every Sunday night from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on thatmetalstation.com.
Hey, I'm Dr. Fuck.
And I'm the Ayatollah of Alcohola.
And we are from the Rock and Metal Combat Podcast.
If you want to check out some crazy, uncensored, unbiased, totally nuts reviews of classic hard rock and heavy metal albums, check us out. You can get us on Podbean and iTunes. New episodes every Sunday.
That's right. And we also do each other's moms.
True. Free of charge.
Well, mine charges.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, mine's free.